शरद पवार जी को खुद जाना पड़ा इलेक्शन कमीशन के सामने।
That's fantastic.
चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर के सामने शरद पवार जी खुद पेश हुए हैं, साथ में अभिषेक मनु सिंघवी, और पवार साहब ने अपना केस खुद सामने रखा है, which is amazing. Let's ask Mr. Mahesh Tapase. Tapase साहब नमस्कार।
Good evening, namaskar.
Good evening. How are you, sir? How are you? How are you?
After so long.
After such a long time. I was told Mr. Joe Biden has called you because he wanted your advice on how to deal with the Republicans. So you were kind of busy.
I hope God may be kind and one day
that will happen, bound to happen. But
I
Mr. Tapase,
must say that Bajaj ji has become a philosopher. So whom are you impressed with? I mean, your philosophy, is it with Aristotle or with Socrates or with Zarathustra? I mean, I don't know what, but you're looking.
I am very happy. I am very, very happy with Sage Vashishta and Brihaspati. I am very, very happy.
No, but Mahesh Tapase ji is telling you that I can speak endlessly on this subject also, philosophy.
Yes, that too. Absolutely. that
Nambiar
too.
ji, you have to enlighten me on that. Nambiar ji, I must come to you for this kind of philosophical guidance.
But the is
Anyway,
amazing.
great coming on your show after a very long time. I'm sorry, I've been extremely busy traveling across the length and breadth of Maharashtra and also in my
Wonderful.
home district of Thane.
But
So,
Mr.
like,
Tapase, really,
yes,
very great to see Mr. Sharad Pawar presenting his case himself in front of the Chief Election Commissioner today. I mean, can you imagine that? The man who formed the NCP in 1999 has to go in front of the Chief Election Commissioner and say, hey, listen, my name is Sharad Chandra Pawar, I am still here, I am still alive, this is my party. I mean, forget the pathos in the thing. I am so enthused by what Mr. Pawar has done, which is brilliant. Now, I don't know what the other side is going to do or is going to say, but every NCP loyalist and every NCP worker, forget about NCP, even the others, they're all going to get up, and if people don't get up and applaud him for this, I don't know what they're made of. Mr. Tapase.
Well, Mr. Bajaj and Mr. Nambiar, thank you so much for showering heaps of praises on our leader Sharad Chandra Pawar sahib. And actually, this is his style. This is, to take the bull by its horns. And since we were only said, and most of the other political parties have expressed their faith and they are standing by Mr. Pawar sahib. And I think what you said and what you have understood as a media person, as a person who understands the political scape of the country, I'm sure that one day AJIT DADA Pawar will also understand that it is Sharad Pawar who has made the party, it is Pawar Saab who calls the shot in the state of Maharashtra and to a larger extent in the country also. And if AJIT DADA can understand that, I think there is nothing more to say. I hope he understands that very fast.
We all hope so too. We all hope so. But do you think he will understand? You know him quite well.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
We are all keeping our fingers crossed. I hope the prodigal son returns. I really and truly hope that will happen. But don't you think, I mean, come to think of it, what Supriya Sule said just the other day, Mrs. Supriya Sule, what she said just the other day, there were two parties started by Maharashtrians. One was the Shiv Sena, the other is the NCP, and they were both split by the BJP. And there's a huge message in there for people of Maharashtra. Mr. Tapase.
Yes, there is. In fact, the act of splitting the Shiv Sena and the NCP together itself has given a strong message to the people of Maharashtra. Yes, BJP does not live in a symbiotic relationship. It lives in a parasitic relationship. It eats up the host. That is what exactly BJP has done with the Shiv Sena. With us, they tried to cling on to us, but their obsession with Sharad Pawar still continues. And even at the India Today conclave, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis said that yes, Mr. Pawar said so and so, this and that. I think he is still a prisoner in the past, and he should move on. I think.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, listen, they've been in power for over a year and 1 month or 2 months. They've been in power for over a year or 2 years, and he is still talking about what took place in 2019. What's the matter? I mean, is he living in a time warp or something? What's going on?
Well, nothing of that sort that Mr. Devendra Fadnavis ji is saying happened in 2019. Who is Pawar Saab and the NCP to call upon the central government to impose the governor's and the president's rule in the state of Maharashtra? We are nobody. I mean, it's the call of the governor who is the nominee of the president of India. and the government of India, he thought fit that nobody is coming forward, so let me put forth a suggestion to impose president's rule in the state of Maharashtra, and he has acted as per his discretionary power. So where does Mr. Pawar come? Like what Mr. Fadnavis said, where does Mr. Pawar come? Why his why his yes was needed so badly?
So they're all obsessed with Mr. Pawar still.
They are so much obsessed with Mr. Pawar that despite getting Ajit Pawar on their side, they have just managed to get 2.5% of the votes. That's it.
You see a pattern. You see a pattern where Fadnavis ji at this particular moment on the conclave comes and tells everybody, I am telling you one more thing. मैं और एक चीज आपको उजागर करके बोलता हूँ. And then he says, I am revealing this, that Pawar Sahab had himself said that President rule should be imposed. I made the letter on Sharad Pawar Sahab's behalf and there was corrections that Sharad Pawar Sahab wanted, and I corrected that particular letter, and this was given, and then the U-turn. Now, are you seeing a sequence of event leading to what Sharad Pawar Sahab went before the Election Commission, and what Supriya Sule ji is always telling that we know what is going to happen, we know, and Fadnavis ji is trying to justify all that is going to happen. The party and the symbol which Ajit Pawar is claiming. Tapasya Sahab, you see a sequence, you see a pattern?
Well, Mr. Fadnavis ji is absolutely obsessed by his famous saying, "Mi puna yin, mi puna yin, mi puna yin." Unfortunately, he is not making it to the #1 slot in the state of Maharashtra. The #1 slot is with somebody who is much junior to him. The #2 slot is again, there is another aspirant in Ajit Dada Pawar's form, who also is a big aspirant and a claimant for the #1 post. So Mr. Fadnavis doesn't seem to be getting that, and I think that is the real reason why he seems to be so disturbed. Well, a person of that caliber, a person of that stature, I didn't know. I mean, he backed up as a stenographer for Mr. Pawar and he had to type a letter and whatever. I mean, I don't buy that story at all.
And
one never knows. One never knows. There might be a hidden history here, of somebody taking a course on stenography and typing, or something like that. Even that might come out. One really never knows. But I'm shocked. What Pradeep ji mentioned just now, it is not as if that very, very smart young man, what's his name? That's Sahil.
Yes, Sahil Joshi.
Sahil Joshi, yes. He's a very, very, very good journalist. He didn't even ask him a question. Mr. Fadnavis volunteered the information himself. Hey, hang on, I'll tell you something more which happened. I mean, this is crazy. This really shows the kind of effect Mr. Pawar has on all these people. But what do you think is going to happen now with regard to the Election Commission? Now, the first thing which arises, sorry, this is taking slightly long, one more sentence. The first thing which comes to my mind is, this whole thing is bloody unfair. How can you do this? Mr. Dabas.
Mr. Fadnavis was shrewd enough to use the India Today platform for his own political gains. And I think that really did not go down well, and nobody accepted, nobody bought what he said. And I think that must have upset Mr. Devendra Fadnavis again and again and again. But coming back to the situation where Ajit Dada Pawar has staked his claim to the party, I mean, the cadre doesn't accept that at all. MLAs may have gone, they may have switched their loyalties to Ajit Pawar, not out of the love for Ajit Pawar, but definitely for whatever other reasons that might be there, maybe constituency, maybe MP-led funds, or whatever it might be their compulsions, I do not know, or the compelling compulsion of the central agencies. So I do not know what their compulsions are, but they also know very well that it is Mr. Pawar Sahab whose blessings got them elected in their respective constituencies way back in 2019. Now the graph of Pawar Sahab is much larger. We are capturing the bigger scape in Maharashtra. Also with us is Uddhav Thackeray ji, who's gone through a similar situation, and his party cadre is absolutely intact. So is with the Congress, their party cadre is absolutely intact. So together with the Congress, with the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray ji and our NCP led by our leader Pawar Sahab, we are going to make a resounding comeback to the political scape of Maharashtra. We are going to form the government. That's exactly what Pawar Sahib said at the India Today conclave. He said we will form the government in 2024.
Tapada Sahab, Supriya Sule ji said that we refuse to accept the BJP's request that come with us. And then BJP goes ahead, breaks the family. Now she says, breaks the family, Pawar family, and break the party. That is what Supriya Sule ji said. And that this is a continuous attack on the opposition leaders who don't comply. Like Uddhav ji refused to comply, same thing happened, the party was destroyed. Sharad Pawar ji refused to comply, the party was destroyed. Arvind Kejriwal refused his inquiry on the house. Sanjay Singh arrested. Before that, Sisodia arrested. And the BJP says liquor scam arrests are not over, there are going to be more arrests. So it comes back to the very fact that आप लोग बार-बार यही बोल रहे थे कि opposition is being targeted. Rahul Gandhi said opposition is being targeted, and now ये सच्चाई और हकीकत सब पूरे देश देख रहे हैं. तब साहब, the opposition is being attacked by central agencies, by the BJP.
I agree with you. The opposition is absolutely being attacked. Supriya Sule ji very categorically mentioned this in one of her recent speeches, that the opposition is being attacked. I mean, nobody would buy Sanjay Singh being arrested for a charge, and looking at the way that he's been brought up and his family values that Sanjay Singh comes up with. I don't think nobody is going to have any kind of affection towards the BJP in northern India and in the state of Maharashtra and this western part of the country. It's the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray and Pawar Sahib's NCP. I mean, what they have done to us and the Shiv Sena, nobody in Maharashtra is liking it. We are just keeping quiet. The electorate is keeping quiet and just waiting for the right opportunity. And the right opportunity lies in this little index finger that all of us have, and they'll press the right button at the opportune time.
Mr. Tabase, I know this seems like a very trite question. It's a very whatever, but I have to ask it all the same. Almost 40 people died in Nanded in a 24-hour period in a hospital. I think 12 or 13 people died in Sambhajinagar. Prior to that, if you remember, in Thane,
18 people.
18 people had died. Perhaps it would do good to all these chaps, the CM, the two deputy CMs, perhaps to focus on that instead of focusing on what took place in 2019, what did Mr. Pawar say, allegedly say, what he didn't say, and so on and so forth. What do you think is going on here? I think there seems to be a lack of grasp of reality here.
There is no lack of grasp of reality. I think the BJP is purposely trying to shift the goalpost every time they are cornered. And this is exactly what Mr. Fadnavis did. I mean, if you just recall that day when the Nanded incident happened, and if you see the social media handles of the Prime Minister of the country, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, both the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra and the Health Minister of Maharashtra, none of them have even have the decency or the sensitivity to at least make a small tweet that this kind of incident has happened, and we pray for the well-being of those who are battling their lives, and none of them tweeted also. I mean, this is the kind of insensitivity that the BJP and the people in power have, whether it's the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister or I mean, you can check their tweets for that particular day. I tweeted the same thing. I was shocked that how come the Prime Minister is not tweeting this incident, how come the CM, both the Deputy Chief Minister and the Health Minister of Maharashtra is not, trying to console the people. Supriya Sule went on, I think just 2 days back ago, she was in Nanded. I mean, she was met by grieving mothers, relatives of the people who lost their loved ones in that Nanded incident. I mean, almost 15 newborn babies lost their lives.
Yes.
I mean, she could not, Supriya had she almost had a nervous breakdown at that point.
Yes, she did. So why do you think they're doing that? Is it because if they talk about it or tweet about it or even, whatever, mention it, they'll have to take responsibility for it because they are in government?
Take responsibility. In fact, if you see the Health Minister's statement today, Mr. Tanaji Sawant is the Health Minister, he has clearly washed off his hands from the entire incident. He said it's not my department, it's the Department of Medical Education Minister who does not belong to my party, but he belongs to a different party, which is the NCP and led by the AJIT Pawar faction. I will not call it NCP, but led by AJIT Pawar faction. So today, Health Minister Tanaji Samant said, no, it's not my doing. It's not my doing. That the hospital doesn't fall in my ministry. It's with the medical education. So he has clearly washed off his hand. He has put Mr. Hassan Mushrif in that Kadgara, whatever you call that, in the court, in the prisoner's box. And now I think in a way that BJP is so embarrassed that they are trying to put words in the health minister's mouth that probably they would want to take the resignation of Hassan Mushrif.
Tapasya Sahab, if we go a little further, Narendra Modi takes pride in Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. He says, I have brought an empowerment where women is concerned. They say it's a landmark leap and achievement where Indian democracy is concerned. We are empowering the woman. Now, is it a quantum jump, as the way Mr. Modi is saying? Because I think I was told Sharad Pawar Sahab had actually empowered the women in the local bodies way back, decades earlier. So why is the BJP highlighting this particular achievement कि 27 साल आप सोचते रहे हमने 2 दिन में कर दिया? Tapasya Sahab, can you throw light on Pawar Sahab's achievement, Sharad Pawar Sahab's achievement which he had done decades before?
Sharad Pawar ji got women reservation in the local self-governments quite some time ago. Maharashtra was the first state under the leadership of Pawar Sahab to give 33% women reservation in the local body. Later on, it was increased to 50%. Now that the BJP government in the center they had a full mandate in the Lok Sabha and they knew that this bill will come in. I just want to ask, when will it be implemented? Whether it will be implemented to 2024, 29 and 34. If it is 34, then should we call it a quantum leap? I mean, that's the whole question. Whether the bill, whether the law, if not implemented within 10 years, whether it will be still applicable in 2034. This is the whole question. So BJP has no answer when they are going to implement this 33% reservation for legislators and for parliamentary women parliamentarians. I mean they have to redo the entire delimitation of constituencies and so and so. We see the Bihar model where the caste census was done by the Bihar government, and this has thrown harrowing pictures regarding the deprived community. It's almost 85%. I mean, where are we? In which reality are we living? So we have been demanding that the caste census should be taken pan-India, and everybody should know what is the situation. If you are targeting a particular community as a beneficiary of a government scheme and you do not have the numbers, I mean the numbers that we have are so decades old, and they are absolutely not relevant in 2023 and 24. So government should accept what Nitish Kumar ji has said, what Sharad Pawar ji has been saying all along, to have a caste census pan-India and give the state a proper legitimate framework of numbers that the targeted audience, the targeted communities, the beneficiaries, for all government schemes, this is the number, and you need to rework the financing model, you need to rework the budgetary allocation. So this is not being done. So it's all a hogwash. The government of India.
Or otherwise, as Rahul Gandhi suggested in his speech in the Lok Sabha, you already have the figures of the 2011 census which you haven't released. Perhaps that could serve as a base. Perhaps. I don't know whether that will be, because even that is about 12 years old. So you really can't. I don't know whether you can actually take that as a base or not. But the point is, the fact remains that this bill is not going to be implemented now. It's going to be implemented, if it is at all, it is going to be implemented perhaps in 2029 or 2030. Now, do you know of any other bill passed in Parliament which will be which is to be implemented, say 6 years later or 7 years later? Do you have any knowledge of that? I mean, just wanted to know. I have not been able to find out any.
I derive my knowledge by great thinkers like you. So I'll wait for your comment. I keep on reviewing your status.
I haven't heard. I have not seen in the entire parliamentary history of India that a bill has been passed which will be implemented only 7 years later. I think that's a first.
It is absolutely an eyewash that the government of India has tried to throw to the 50% population, gender population of this country. So I think the women electorate has not gone down well. People understand. People are not. I mean, they understand what is in between the word, in between the lines.
So do you think the same thing applies with regard to this government's promise of Maratha reservation? Do you think the same thing applies?
This government has no agenda. The only agenda that the Eknath Shinde government has to keep the 40-45 MLAs intact. Ajit Dada has an agenda to keep his 40 odd MLAs intact, and Devendra Fadnavis ji has an agenda to keep the ball playing in between Ajit Dada and Eknath Shinde ji. So Devendra ji is having his last laugh. Both of them are fighting for the number one slot. The government of Maharashtra has spent crores of rupees for publicity, for this image makeover that Eknath Shinde ji desperately needed when he took over as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. But look at the state of affairs. I mean, you don't have money to buy the medicine. And in fact, it would be my request to Ajit Dada as a finance minister of the state. Every time he has raised the MP-led funds, he has raised the salaries of the members of parliament. I mean, was that important, or was getting medicine to the right people, was that important? If tomorrow, if he makes a new budget and if he raises the salary of member of parliament, member of legislatures, I'm definitely going to go ask, I mean, why don't you raise the salary of doctors? I mean, they can be paid more professionally. So a professional talent can go into rural area and cater to the 700 to 1000 OPDs which come to a government hospital in any district of Maharashtra.
Or at least fill up all the vacancies.
Absolutely, there is almost a 50% vacant seats
Yes.
in almost most of the hospitals in the
In all departments, by the way, in all departments, including nurses, including ancillary staff, including doctors, including everybody else, including helpers. They have not been recruited. I mean, so do you think they will ever be recruited? Do you think this will change? Or will we have to wait for the next tragedy? I hope it doesn't happen.
In old days, when we were in the college, that time there used to be a good institution called Public Service Commission, and I think all the vacancies would be filled up by that Public Service Commission, whether it's class 3, class 4, class 2, class 1, any of those vacancies. I'm sure most of us in those days were aspirants for various government jobs, whether it's a central government job or a state government job, and we had a high regard for the Public Service Commission. But I think the Public Service Commission has practically become defunct. I mean, you're hiring agencies, giving them certain mandates, and you are asking them to recruit thousands of people. I mean, who knows what caliber of people are being recruited, and what is their accountability, and what is the accountability of a person who's recruited by a third-party agency.
So, in effect, what you're really saying is this is a government on contract.
Absolutely, it's a government on contract. Everything you are asking tehsildars to be on contract. I mean,
Yes.
what kind of government is this?
And even the police, by the way. There's a new thing coming. Lots and lots of cops are going to be, on contract. Have they lost it? I mean, for want of a better word.
I think the government has no agenda. They want to totally disrupt the government machinery. They want to put the country or the state in total chaos, and this is something very, very tragic for us to see. I mean, how can you have a contractual person on a government, whether it's a revenue department or whether it's a medical department or an education department? I mean, what will be his sole responsibility towards the subject that he's going to rule? I think this is a very serious thing, and we need a bigger debate on this pan-state, pan-India debate, and the government has to infuse funds in the government machinery to pay off your employees. I mean, you see, there are governments across all the countries in the world, and there are countries who have high corruption, and there are countries who have absolutely negligible corruption. So why don't you take the good things from them and implement the same in your country?
Pradeep ji.
Tapal sahab, the India Alliance, Rahul Gandhi ji, jitni abadi utna hak. The India Alliance has made its agenda absolutely clear. On coming in government, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to Jatiya Janganna. You are absolutely sure about it. Rahul Gandhi has been pitching, Sharad Pawar sahab, along with everybody has been. Now, you 84% after the Bihar caste census. You want more. So is that agenda absolutely clear? Because Rahul Gandhi ji pitch kar raha tha ki 90 mein se secretaries mein se chahe 3 OBC hai. What is going to happen? We need social empowerment where OBCs is concerned. That is an agenda, Tapasya sahab.
Definitely, I mean, you have to give due representation to all the communities. I mean, India is a country with diverse communities, diverse religion, diverse ethnic backgrounds, and I think all have to be represented. And this has to be done by the government of India, government of the state, by the respective state. And what is wrong to have your record straight? I mean, you have done your land record straight. You have done your Indian penal codes straight. I mean, what is stopping you from getting the caste census in the right order so that everybody knows, every finance minister who's going to make a budget in the first quarter of the financial year. I mean, the last quarter of the financial year. I mean, he should know. I mean, what is his budgetary allocation to specific communities, whether it's the Adivasis or the OBCs or the SCs or the economically backward classes. This is very important.
I think, as you know, bureaucrats thrive on lack of transparency. So do lots of governments.
So, but we have to change the system. I mean,
Yes.
if you can get private minds also, there's nothing wrong. But accountability has to be ensured. I mean, if you're not going to have accountability in place, somebody who's going to work for a 5-year contract with you as a tehsildar, and what if he just rewrites the entire land records and then suddenly you realize that he's a resident of Switzerland.
You want to comment on Narendra Modi ji invoking last ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji on the first right of nation's resources to the minorities, and among the minorities to the Muslims. Is this agenda being set for the 5 state assemblies and 2024? How do you see it, Tapasya sir?
I think the speech writer of the Prime Minister very carefully selected a few words and omitted most of the words.
Yes.
Either he did not see the full video of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji, or he wanted to play politics in it and very selectively he used those words. It is absolutely false, absolutely absurd. And the person to the stature of the Prime Minister should not use such concocted words, at least in regard to the former Prime Minister. I mean, you have taken the baton from a Prime Minister. It's your duty to take the country ahead on certain principles which the government has passed, and those principles have been successful.
But are you surprised at that? After all, we have the same PM being told that Takshashila is actually in Bihar, and 625 crore people voted for him. He said that in Davos. 625 crore.
I mean, there a time has to come when the political agenda has to be straightened up, and as administrative reforms are coming in, so we need to have a political reform in the country. I mean, people have to.
All right, and now, just really the last question. I know you also have to go. I need your personal comment on the BJP depicting Rahul Gandhi as Ravan. You know, a lovely poster of Rahul Gandhi as Ravan, and then later on as a puppet of George Soros, and of course the Congress has come back projecting Mr. Modi as Danav, as opposed to Rahul Gandhi as Ravan, and Mr. Modi a puppet of Mr. Adani, as opposed to Rahul Gandhi being a puppet of George Soros. But this Ravan thing is a bit of a mystery. Is he Pappu or is he Ravan?
I think with Rahul Gandhi is now as a leading masiha of the people of the country, and I don't think Pappu or Ravan, both these words, both these adjectives suit his personality, this changed persona that Rahul Gandhi is having. And I think the people of the country are believing in Rahul Gandhi. They have walked with them almost 3,000 kilometers, thousands of them, hundreds and thousands of them thronging across the streets of the country, from the southern part of the country to right up to the northern part of the country. So it's not that BJP is trying to depict in whatever way, but ultimately what you are being depicted as, the government in question is being depicted as, this is the question that Narendra Modi ji and his party should be asking themselves.
Chalte, sir, what do you think will happen in the election commission? Just a wild guess. With regard to the NCP?
Most of the people have guessed that truth will follow. Truth and justice will follow.
No, we liked it when Sharad Pawar was asked this question, how many MLAs are with you? He said none, nobody. He said, though symbol milega, he said, I'm not bothered. That shows the statesman.
He's a fighter. I mean, Nambiar sir, Pawar sir is a fighter, and
yes.
बहुत अखाड़े देखे हुए हैं, so he is not worried about anything.
But he was the president of the Wrestling Federation of Maharashtra.
Yes, absolutely, and we have our faith in the judicial system, in the constitution of the country, and also in the election commission. So let's hope the best comes out.
Love the way you say, and also in the election commission. I hope your faith is realized. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great pleasure talking to you, as always.
My
we
pleasure.
miss you. It'd be nice if you could come here more often.
And talk on
It'd be
philosophy
great.
also, because
Right.
he seems to be very philosophical.
Nowadays I'm reading philosophy.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Great pleasure talking to you.
Bajaj sir, thank you.
Vande Mataram, sir. Thank you very much.
Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram.
It's a bit unfair, really, for Mr. Sharad Pawar at his age to go and defend the party that he made. That he said, as if to say, hey, listen, I'm alive. My name is Sharad Pawar. Just like, you have to go to the pension office and prove the fact that you're still alive and you're the same person who worked, for such a long time in government, and you are entitled to draw your pension.
But sir, it's a great motivation for the youngsters where leadership is concerned. This man has no backing neither in the state nor the center. Everybody is out to get him. But look at him. He goes on his own. He goes on his own to the election commission's office, which was not necessary actually. He goes in, attends all sabhas. He takes sabhas in all the areas which was probably one time his. That spirit, that enthusiasm at that particular age, he's certainly a great example of exemplary leadership qualities.
Fantastic. Right, and we must congratulate the Indian contingent of the Asian Games. We've got, I think, 95 medals at last count. I think by tomorrow we would have crossed the figure of 100. Is bar 100 par. And I think Mr. Modi needs to be congratulated for that, irrespective of whatever might be the opinion of other people. यहाँ पर सीधी सादी बात है, मोदी साहब का फोकस हमेशा रहा है इस बार 100 पार, and that India should also become a sports superpower, which is fantastic. And I think that is fantastic, really and truly fantastic. And I'm personally really and truly happy at two things. One, Neeraj Chopra, Kishore Kumar Jena winning the gold and the silver in the javelin, something which has never happened before in the javelin throw event ever since the Asian Games started. Number two, the gold medal in hockey, men's hockey, comes back to India. Absolutely fantastic.
And as you said, another leadership qualities which people can learn when Narendra Modi ji is concerned. You set realistic targets,
Yes.
achieve them, and then move ahead.
You know they're realistic, even
Yes.
though other people might not think so.
Bilkul, sir. So,
All right, and can we have that thing again, please, where it's all about, subscribe to the channel? Can we have that thing? I don't know why the guys have not put it out at all today. सब लोग भूल गए लगता है. Can we have it on again, please? You guys have put it on for exactly 1 second or so? Or क्या मतलब है? Like, share, subscribe. All right. Please do subscribe to the channel. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. नई शन्ना को अगर आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, अपने कमेंट जरूर भेजें. I'll try and read them out, or we'll try and read out as many as possible. We do have some comments. Let's take a look. दिखाएं जरा comments दिखाएं क्या है. लाहौर 1947. अब क्या ईगो 90s में दोनों के अलग अलग कैंप थे. अब सनी और आमिर दोनों कोई भी मूवी में मिक्सअप हो जाएंगे. अब ये हीरो नहीं, किधर किरदार मतलब I couldn't quite figure out. Can you figure this out?
नहीं, किरदार है, किरदार.
नहीं है, किरदार है, मतलब
It's
क्या
a part of the philosophy.
Lots of philosophy thing.
We are playing our parts.
प्रतीक निधि 694. ये तो कोई भी मूवी कर लेगा. वो दौर गए जब ये सिलेक्टिव था. दंगल के बाद इसे कोई भी रोल दे दो, ये कर लेगा. I don't think this person likes Amir Khan. जी. This was Mr. Hemant Kamble with us. Hemant Kamble, our friend. Sarji, Dean of Nanded Hospital, who's a Marathi, was forced to clean toilet. Why MNS has not taken out a protest against the MP, Sri Patil, who forced the Dean? Where has the Marathi Asmita gone? Or is it that Marathi Asmita is enlightened when the person in picture is non-SC, ST?
Yes.
Right. That is just about it. That's all we've got for you in so far as the comments are concerned. Please do keep sending in your comments. अपने comments जरा भेजते रहें. We love to read your responses. Some of them, of course, are very, very colorful. बड़े colorful responses होते हैं आपके. और कई तो गालियों से भी भरे होते हैं. लेकिन फिर भी response ज़रूर भेजें. And do subscribe to the channel. Subscribe नहीं किया अगर आपने channel को, तो ज़रूर subscribe करें. Nation Now वो घंटी बनी है ना, उसके ऊपर ज़रा बटन दबा दें. That's it. That's all we've got for you in tonight's show. प्रदीप जी और मेरी तरफ से आप सबको नमस्कार. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र, जय भवानी, जय शिवाजी, वंदे मातरम.
Vande Mataram.